Coming up next, we're going to talk to a phenomenal performer. Roachford will be on the programme in a couple of moments from now, talking about a new charity. BBC Radio Leeds for a Friday morning. It's 13 minutes after 11. We're with you through until midday today, and it's always nice to meet someone who I'm a big fan of. We don't have Riff Raff on the programme. Andrew Roachford joins us today. Good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
You're the man who brought us Cuddly Toy and Family Man, written for Michael Jackson and Shaka Khan, and you're going to be performing right here in West Yorkshire in a few months for a charity show for Huddersfield-based charity Dreams Girls. It's a charity soul and Motown review at the Victoria Theatre in Halifax. Tell us more about it.
It's going to be basically, I mean, they've been doing it for a few years now, and it's each year they've had sort of different soul artists, some of my sort of heroes actually, and there's a completely voluntary charity, and it's each year they deal with different charities. And I got approached and asked if I'd get involved, and I thought I jumped at it straight away, you know.
You've got one of those unique voices. I was lucky enough to see it at Ronnie Scott's in London a few years ago, and I think it was just you, a piano and a guitar or something like that, and that's all you need. I love the fact that you don't need whizzes and bangs to make you sound brilliant. There aren't many artists left like that, are there?
Well, I think, yeah, I think you're right. There's not a lot of artists that would be brave enough, I suppose, to just walk on stage with a guitar and a piano and do some songs. I think, I suppose there is a lot of special effects added, but it's a different. I think the emphasis is on the actual visuals now as well, more than the actual vocals and stuff. But I'm still a purist in that sense. Is that for me it's about actually the songs and the vocals and actually the performance on that level.
Help me with what I'm hearing all over the place at the moment. This thing where it kind of makes their voice go...
auto-tune.
Auto-tune. What is that they're all doing?
Well, actually, it's an effect. It was originally invented to aid singers that were slightly out of tune, blah, 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 and it then became something of an effect. And apparently, I was one of the first people to ever use it.
Really?
So I'm responsible for it because basically there was some guys who were doing a remix of one of my songs, The Way I Feel, and they decided that to get me down to re-sing the vocal, and I did it in one take, and there was one note that was a bit out, so they put this effect on it, and they started sort of messing around with it, and it became sort of quite an interesting effect. And apparently Cher heard it, and she put it on her song "If You Believe in Life After Love," and that was the first one that was known for using that effect. And now it's just gone completely crazy because everyone uses it. You know what I mean? Like Black Eyed Peas, kind of.
I think Lady Gaga as well. It's just it's a strange thing. We'll play a bit of Believe in a minute so people know what we're on about. And I know that I was listening to a DJ in America the other week, and he's got one in his studio, and he now does the first hour in auto-tune and sings his whole programme, which is very entertaining.
It's a very easy way of... if you put it on your track, it's a very easy way of it sounding very 2010 now. You just put that on and you can be singing a country and western song. If you put that on it sounds 2010.
And does it mean that my dad who can't sing can sound as if he sings?
Definitely. It can't put him in time, but it can definitely put him in tune.
Right.
Yeah.
I tell you what, while we're talking, I'll play a bit of Believe under her so people know what we're on about, because as you say, she was the first to do it. Help me about writing a hit, because you've really worked with some of the best and the biggest, Michael Jackson and Shaka Khan. What is the key to getting a pop hit?
Well, first of all, with the Michael Jackson and Shaka Khan story, what that was is that they approached me to write songs for them. And it was something that was in the pipeline, but I never actually did. But with a hit song, I mean, I don't know. I think that you tend to... my biggest hits have been songs I haven't actually thought about in that way anyway. I haven't thought about, like, well, this is going to be a hit. It's just something that just works. And as soon as you've done it, you know that... You know that it's good because you find that you can play it over and over again without getting bored of it. It's always a good sign.
We were talking about this auto-tune thing. Here's a bit of it on Cher's Believe. And it's kind of, they've tweaked it more.
Line, here we go.
I can feel something inside me say, I really don't think you're strong enough, no.
That's not as much on that.
It's not. But it's a similar thing where you don't really know who's singing what, do you? That's the trick, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, really, honestly, anyone can sound like the Black Eyed Peas with auto-tune. Anyone. I mean, my nephew now makes music, and we gave him a program and stuff, and he started putting this auto-tune thing, and I was thinking, well, it's not good because he's not going to even bother to learn a sing because he's like, well, I don't need to.
I prefer to a proper singer, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Last year, Candy Staton was in West Yorkshire for the charity Dream Girls. I mean, it's really well acclaimed, this event, isn't it?
She's one of my absolute heroes. I mean, although I do like Florence and the Machine's version of her song, still for me, I've got a soft spot for the fact it's a Candy Staton song and the way she performed it. And I was so sort of in awe of the fact that she did it the year before, and Alexandra O'Neill. And I remember taking my mum to see Candy Staton and Al Green when they played in London, and it's just like, wow, I'm going to be doing the same event. It's cool.
Staton, by the way, she told me off when I called her Candy Staton.
Okay, well, excuse me, Miss Staton.
She don't like that very much.
Roachfield.
What is your life like now? Because you're always here, but you're not at number one, and I think people think if you're not at number one, you're dead.
People do tend to think that if you're not all over Radio 1 or something, then you've just retired and decided to do something else. But I'm still doing loads of touring at the moment. I mean, I finished a new album, and hopefully that will be all over radio, and people will realize that, I'm still doing it. And another thing is that people don't realize is that some artists actually get better at what they do. I think people think, well, once you've done your first initial album or first couple of hits, then that's you done. And I'm really, some of my heroes like Stevie Wonder, those people, they just got better every album. And I think that's normal to me. That's how it should be. But
I tell you what I like about people like you. You're not trying to be cool and contemporary and smart and all of that. You just do what you do. The problem is if you want to be a pop artist, by the fact you're popular, you go out of fashion. And that's a very, very short line, isn't it, if you take that route? Whereas the longer route of just making great music is going to last far longer. Yeah,
for me, it's like my thing is about touring and selling albums. I'm not really bothered about being famous. I think there's never been an accent on that for me. I mean, it happened to me, but it was never my big ambition. My big ambition was to play to people who like my music as much as possible, and that's still what I'm going for, and that's still what I'm doing. And the fame thing, I mean, if I have to do some of that stuff to actually sell my music and get people to hear my music, then I will.
I'm going to end with my favourite track, which was so around... I think Chris Evans really made it big for you, If You Ever, and it's just a brilliant, brilliant song, and it's still played now. When you hear this, does it take you back to that place? How do you think about your big hits?
How do I think about them? I just think about the fun I've had. The fun I've had just performing them. It's mostly about, like, when you get hits, the thing is that when you go and do a show, people know all the lyrics, and they know the songs, and that's kind of really quite sort of wow. You know, I remember writing this song in my bedroom like X amount of years ago, and there's a crowd of people who it means something to their life as well, and it's like very surreal.
Well, this is going to be the best song I'll play on the show today. I seriously mean that. And congratulations to you for a wonderful back catalogue so far, and I'm sure so much more to come. We'll talk again, no doubt. Andrew Roachford is going to be at this big event. It's taking place on Saturday, 25th of September. And it's a wonderful appeal and a wonderful charity. It's the Soul and Motown Review at the Victoria Theatre in Halifax on the 25th of September. And it's for the Huddersfield-based charity called Dream Girls. Thank you very much for coming on the programme. Lovely to talk to you. And we'll speak to you soon. Thanks, Andrew.